Robert's the founder of Pure Guidance. We're a purpose before profit group, but now we have an official sponsor. I haven't had one in a long time, but it's Blockchain Insurance. We just launched our company. It's going to be in the comments section. Check it out. We're a traditional insurance for non-traditional industries, but we're not here to talk about sponsors. We are here today to talk about car dealerships and buying cars and all the exciting things that comes with that new car smell. So I want to, first of all, before we talk, introduce Mary and Brandon, the founders of Hoodo. How are you?
Hey, Jade, doing great.
Good.
Hey, everyone.
Great. Thank you.
Great. It's a great day. No, I want to get something out of the way here first. So Brandon and I have known each other for a while. We played senior baseball. I can honestly say that, I don't have the official stats, but I might have the most bombs off you as a pitcher of all time. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm sure you have no rebuttal to that.
Maybe not the most, but the longest ones. I'll give you that.
No, it was kind of funny when we ran into each other, in the entrepreneurial world many years after, you stopped playing a little. And I was like, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, no, we have our own company. And Mary's my wife. Oh, no way. So it's kind of funny how things come around full circle. And, our friendship from softball has now turned into a friendship in the entrepreneurial world.
It's crazy. Yeah, I played with you for years and years. I do remember the home runs. I'm pretty sure I hit you directly in the back one time. Had nothing to do with the home runs. But yeah, I really knew nothing about everything that you were up to and everything you were about. So it was really interesting to kind of learn this other side of you.
No, it is true. And it's funny how things come full circle. And yeah, I'm sure I get beamed a lot. So
you stand too close to the plate. Anyways.
I know. But hey, what I want to talk about is Hoodo. So what I would love to do is I love background stories. I love finding out how you came up with this idea, how you kind of started it, how you launched it, and we'll get into some of the other questions later. But kind of share your founding story.
For sure. So Brandon, I'll start with this, but he spent over a decade inside dealerships, and he was working in marketing, but he also was constantly building tools as a developer. And he saw a problem with a dealership that he wanted to solve. He'll probably talk more about this, but he also needed a co-founder. So that's kind of where I felt in. And I was kind of at a point in my career where I had to decide, is it time to continue climbing the corporate ladder, or is it like time to start something of our own? And we've both had that dream for a long time of like starting our own company, but you can't just start up your own company without finding a problem. And Brandon identified a problem, and I was in a crossroads in my career. So it seemed like a perfect opportunity for me to jump from corporate to working with my husband and starting a business together.
Anything to add there, Brandon?
No, she kind of actually, Mary's backstory is much more interesting than mine. But yeah, I worked at dealerships for 10 years, outside facing from a customer. We look like we have all the tools and we're all shiny and everything's good. But when you kind of get into the back end, the nitty gritty of dealerships, the people actually doing all the work behind the scenes have no tools. It's all spreadsheets, emails, sticky notes. Communication is very siloed. We had a lot of issues. I worked at two of the biggest Toyota stores in Canada. And even for them, we had a lot of issues in the back end. So using my programming background, and since I was a marketing manager there for 10 years, I kind of had my fingers in every department. I knew everybody. I knew the problems really well, and thought this could be an opportunity for not only the dealerships I worked in, but really all of them in North America. And it's kind of been validated in these past few months. We've done some conferences down in the States and in Toronto that this is kind of a widespread problem with car dealerships, especially in North America. So had the idea, made the app, and now we're just trying to get it rolling. But what Mary failed to say about her background, which is very interesting, is she made the jump from nursing to automotive. Ooh. What's that like, Mary?
Thanks, Brandon. It was honestly, I think, because I spent so long in healthcare and being a nurse, it was like a huge part of my identity. And I think like switching over to like a new industry is always like you kind of have to like shed a part of that identity before you can like fully step into like automotive. I think like for me, leaving such a long career and like starting fresh, it like in the beginning, I like tried to keep my like foot in the door of like healthcare a little, like keep up with my licenses and keep up with all my like education. But then I like realized that if I really wanted to like fully go into like this entrepreneur journey, I had to give like 100%. So it was like really important for me like to like close that chapter and like step into this new chapter. But I didn't like lose any of the experience or the knowledge that I gained over that 15 years. But it's really translated like quite well coming from like really operational heavy industries and having a lot of exposure. I was a nurse, but I worked in heavy industry like trucking, the railway, oil and gas, just on the healthcare side of those industries. So just bringing that over to automotive actually has been really, really beneficial.
Well, I think that's interesting. Our youngest daughter's doing her undergrad, our oldest daughter's doing her undergrad in nursing right now. So I'm probably going to hear a lot about that. I get my blood pressure checked all the time now, which is good.
That is good.
So I'm told.
Oh, by her. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully she won't have to try out any IVs on you. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Holes everywhere. There's lots of band-aids.
Yeah.
I talk about this a lot. Some of the best ideas and some of the best businesses come from gaps inside an ecosystem that you're working in. And then it doesn't matter what ecosystem. Obviously, with Hoodo, it's inside the automotive and the dealership industry. So I would love to kind of dive into that a little bit. Like, at what point did you see that, and this is obviously where you can talk a little bit. And the one thing I like, this is a time to shine, time to brag, time to talk about yourself. And I know it's hard sometimes because we are Canadian, but when you found out that aha moment and that I can do something at this, at what point did you say, I'm out and I'm going to fix this?
So for me, it was really two things. So like I said, the dealerships I worked at were fairly prestigious. We had someone come to pick up a vehicle. It was about a $90,000 car. Came to pick it up on delivery day, and it was the wrong color. And I heard the screaming, I heard the yelling, and I just thought that was a bit ridiculous. I don't even know how that would happen. So I ended up tracing back exactly how we got to that point. And again, to not to copy myself again, but yeah, it was everything behind the scenes was manual. It was phone calls, spreadsheets. Absolutely everything was completely manual. No wonder information like this falls through the cracks. And it made me go on a mission with my programming background to eliminate spreadsheets from the entire dealership. So I started with vehicle delivery. We're kind of getting into recon now and things like that. And then Mary and I actually had a similar experience when we went to pick up my first truck. I went to pick it up. The bed liner wasn't installed. There was a flat tire and the battery was dead. So it was an accumulation of a lot of kind of bad dealership moments, and me working in a dealership for so long and seeing how everything is kind of disconnected and siloed, I thought this was a huge problem. So I actually started developing it while I was still there, developing it just kind of on my spare time in the evenings and stuff. Luckily, I was pretty good friends with the management team there. They allowed me to pilot it at the stores. It was something they needed. They trusted me, so we piloted at those stores. Worked really, really well. They were happy with it. And like Mary said, there was kind of a serendipitous moment where we both said, I think we got something here. Let's team up together and try to make this work.
I think that's pretty neat that you actually, I love the fact that you were forthcoming and honest with your dealership and said, hey, and of course they worked into your first pilot, which I'm sure there were some kinks, there were little things that you had to work out, but what a bonus to just to yell across the office and say, hey, we're going to launch this.
Yeah, it's a big and you're right that the first launch day, it was my first app. I consider myself a fairly decent programmer, but when you're making an app by yourself, you know exactly how you want people to use it. When you give it to 30 people on launch day, they use it in completely different ways that you never even thought. So that first launch day was a little bit hectic. But you're right. I attribute a lot of the success of this app and just how kind of tight and strong it is to exactly what you said, Jade. My management team being very open with me, allowing me to do this at the store. And you're right. If anyone had a problem during the day or there was a bug or something went down, I was right there. They could just come to my office and I could fix it right away. So how kind of programmatically tight the system is now is really an attribute to that and the management team there.
No, that's awesome. And again, so helpful. I mean, and we talk about this all the time with many entrepreneurs, right? You have to get it out there because your vision is going to be so different than actually how it's used or what people want or how they are going to interact with the app.
Yeah, exactly. And even in the dealership space, it's different dealership to dealership. Each dealership's full of completely different personalities. And since everyone's been kind of using their own processes for so long, you know, the spreadsheets, the phone calls, everyone has their own kind of process in the back of their head. So it might not be the same from dealership to dealership. So this really helped kind of look at it on a macro level so that what we created can work for every dealership, despite what your manual processes right now might be.
So I want to ask Mary before we actually get into how the app works, because I think, I mean, and I want to talk about obviously being a husband and wife and how the dynamics of being entrepreneur works and all the fun that probably goes with it as well, because you do nothing but talk about work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
You know, I believe it. You know, what you brought over from nursing and you know, it's a people business there too. So I'm sure the skills that you got and the dealings and the conversations that you had and you know, whether it's trauma or different situations, you know, how was that able to relate when you're actually, you know, building a business?
I think the transferable skills are quite strong to entrepreneurship because, like in healthcare, you're constantly talking to patients, to clients, and trying to problem solve with them, trying to figure out like a solution to what they're experiencing in, or like either talking to it. And I think in nursing and healthcare, they try to teach you to like take out your bias in a lot of situations. And I think what we've learned throughout this process is we typically have an assumption of how something is supposed to go, but then when you talk to the person, you realize that you came in with bias and you need to like set that aside so you can actually solve the problem the way the person needs it to be solved, and like see people not as clients but as collaborators to solve the problems that they have together. So I think that kind of like thinking has really attributed and helped with the entrepreneurship and stepping into automotive, because it kind of helps you like step back and realize that you're not the expert in the situation, the other person is, and what you're trying to do is just work with them so we can find solutions together. And that's the same type of mentality that we have in healthcare. The patient is the expert on their condition. They're the expert in what is going on with their lives. They have all the context. So extracting that context and trying to work to make a solution is how we're kind of trained. And I think that transfers quite well into entrepreneurship.
Oh, couldn't agree more. I mean, it's because I think this conversation is more and more, and I don't want to dive into AI right now, but I mean, I'm not a big AI fan. I mean, I think it's going to be AI as a service, but everyone's like, oh, humans aren't going to be part of it. But you know what? Humans are, because it's a trust business. It's a people believing in people business. I deal with the same people I've dealt with, like for Tuxedo and Dan for 20 some years, because I know, I trust, and I'm never going to, you know, lose that.
Yeah.
So let's dive a little bit into the actual product itself. So, you know, why don't you share what your product does and who can use it?
Yeah. So basically, on a very high level, without giving a demo or a pitch, we take all those fragmented processes that dealerships have, those spreadsheets, sticky notes. We've seen whiteboards. We've seen WhatsApp chats. Like they're trying anything they can do to keep their team informed about what's going on. So right now, we just take all those fragmented pieces from the dealership. So sales, F&I, service, detail, body shop, and put it all into one platform. So everybody at the dealership has one source of truth. They just log onto our app. They can see, for example, here's all the deliveries we have for today. Here's those customers. Here's the exact status of that car. It's ready to go. No, it's awaiting parts. This one's going to be delayed. Everyone just gets the information they need right away, and it's updated in real time. So we've found, we did some case studies as well with the app. Mary, you probably have the actual numbers, and let me know if I'm wrong here. But these people are saving up to 1.5 to 2 hours a day on just manual admin work, searching through emails, waiting for phone calls to come back, and things like that. And that translates directly into more revenue they were able to. The dealerships I were at were able to deliver 5 to 10 more cars a month, just because everything was a little more efficient. So that's kind of what we get at with this app. We're really an information hub for the dealership and an efficiency and time saving app, because everyone who works at a dealership knows time is of the essence. Time is literally money at a dealership. Cars just sitting on the lot, cars that are supposed to be delivered but aren't delivered. It's just money burning, probably by the minute, by the hour. So efficiency, time saving, and just giving everyone at the dealership, all those departments that kind of don't really talk to each other, or may not talk to each other well, giving them one source of truth for everything that's going on for specifically customer vehicle delivery right now and reconditioning. So that's kind of the high level of what it does. It does a lot of other little micro things to help people at dealerships, but that's kind of the longer than elevator pitch length elevator pitch.
Well, that's why we have half an hour. You don't need an elevator pitch here.
Mary, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think a big part of why we think this problem exists is because dealerships have been around for a long time, basically since we've been driving cars. And the systems that were built are decades old because this whole process has been around for so long. And they are running on DOS, but all the information is there. All the revenue, what the car has, when it needs to be delivered, the customer information. It's just not displayed in a way that helps people work better right now. So it's missing that coordination feature. So Brandon's been able to extract like all the data that already exists and make it viewable for people so they can actually operationally function a lot better. So it's just like taking old legacy systems and transforming in a way that matches the scale that people work at nowadays. And it's like also something that they were delivering like very few cars, and we've grown as cities. There's so many more people that are buying cars every day. So there's like eventually a point in a dealership's like growth where that old manual process just starts breaking down. So we've just created a system to help them.
And I imagine from a dealership point of view that customer experience has to be good, right? Like, I mean, if I'm walking in there, my car's not ready, I'm pissed, right? Like like you say you'd be here at 11 o'clock in the morning and now I got to sit here till 12:30 because something's gone wrong. Like, I don't accept that as I've been lucky enough. I would send Tony Delaware a text and I say, this is the vehicle I want, and just let me know when I can pick it up and it would be ready. Yeah. So I haven't had to do that in a few years because now that our daughters are driving, and Cass said, do you want a new car before, as these girls are learning to drive? And I was like, that's probably a good point. Beat up this car before I get another one. And it's a very good decision. So, I know you have a young one. So in 13 years, when they start driving, you'll think of that.
Note that down. That's actually a really good point, Jay. That's other than the efficiency for the people actually working at the dealership, that's one of the biggest parts of why we created this too. Because your customer experience when they come to pick up a car, if that's not, I almost want to say if that's not perfect, it's a huge snowball effect for the dealership. You're not going to get any referrals from that customer. They're probably not going to come and service at your dealership. It's a huge snowball effect of just, and I keep talking about revenue, but that's really what dealerships are. They just want to make money. It's a huge snowball effect of missed revenue, missed customers, and it goes on for years. Just that one bad experience. So yeah, we're also trying to help dealerships, avoid that as well.
Yeah, the car delivery is the last memory a customer has of the dealership, and you don't want that last memory to be poor.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And like you're saying, Jade, it's supposed to be a fun and exciting. It's supposed to be a super exciting day going to pick up your new car. So anything that sullies that is really bad for business.
No, couldn't agree more. Right. I mean, it's. And I don't, and you'll know the stats. I don't, but I mean, I used to flip my car every 3.5 years, and because I like getting a new one and going down that route. And I was loyal to the dealership for that, unless, if I switched a brand, which I didn't do very often, it would still be with Delaware. But I know that when Kath was going to buy a new car, we walked out of dealerships because of the experience. I won't get into where it was or who, but I mean, I was like, oh my God. Right. And then I was just like, okay, just go get a car. Just go get any, I don't care what you come with. Just don't bring a truck home. We got an SUV. We don't have no room in our garage for two big vehicles.
Yeah.
So, and then of course her experience at, I'll say at Kia was absolutely outstanding. And now we're on our third of her. Like, she doesn't want to leave that brand. So the brand loyalty is based on your experience. And as you said, Mary, the last walking out that door, if I'm angry and I'm driving in my brand new good car that I should be pumped about,
Mhm.
what am I going to tell people?
You're going to tell them exactly the experience you had, and not to go there and go to another. You like your Kias, but don't go to that Kia dealership.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
Or this will be my last one, or whatever it is, right? So I think that's interesting. I also want to kind of, again, I just want to say congrats, and I want to dive into a few things here on, on being a couple, being a husband and wife, and doing business, because I think it's important. There's solo entrepreneurs out there. There's co-founders. It's kind of like a marriage. There's always fights. There's always, we'll call them healthy discussions. There's always difference of views, and I would love to get, and I never put this one on our pre-talk about it, because I want your true, authentic answer from each of your point of view. What's it like? How hard is it being being a couple, being married, and running a business and raising a family?
You want to start this one off, Mary?
Sure. I really like it. This is the best job that I've ever had, to be honest. And I've always felt with work, you spend so much time of your life at work and with the people you work with. It's like sometimes 8 to 16 hours a day. And there's not really anybody I would rather spend my time with than my family. And Brandon is a part of that. He's like my best friend. So I think like being able to work with him is like such a privilege. There's probably nobody else that I'd rather work with, to be honest. And that's kind of like how I see it. But it's also, there's 17 years of a relationship there, of like many conversations, going through the ups and downs of life together. So it's like, this is just like another thing that we're going through life together with, I think. And that's like kind of my point of view. Like, obviously it's hard, but like, I rather share that like hardness with someone that I know and trust, and we can have really honest conversations with, than like somebody that is maybe like a stranger to me, or like just getting to know. So I think that's been kind of like the edge that we have, because there's such a long foundation of trust built and communication built, that it's just like faster for us to like get through things, or like move on to the next step when it is like hard.
Yeah, that's you actually put that really well and took a lot of the words out of my mouth. I think what works for us best, and again, this is just us. This is not advice to any other couples or anything trying to start a company. Is Mary's right? We've been married for a while now, but we've known each other for almost 18 years. So we had that friendship before, and we've gone through many disagreements, arguments, things like that during this journey. So we've learned from each other how to manage that, how to manage a difference of opinion, someone getting a little bit annoyed or upset at something, at an idea. We've been through all that before. So whenever we do have, and we're not perfect, we do have disagreements, we have differences of opinion. Whenever that happens, we're able to get through it very quickly without it escalating to something that really is to me, a waste of time, just getting mad and yelling at each other. We've learned very well how to talk about it, resolve it, and move on. And I think another advantage of being married is we can talk about, like you said, we can talk about the business 24/7. I can be dead asleep, and Mary will poke me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I just figured this out," or "I want to talk to you about this." I'm not always very receptive to that, but it's a constant back and forth. We're always talking about it. We're always learning from each other. We're growing together. So I think there's a lot of advantages to the way we kind of structure things, but it comes down to the longevity that we've had in our relationship, not just our marriage, but our friendship.
Oh, I love that, and thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being so candid and honest. I think it's important, because it's hard. It's very, it can be stressful on a relationship, on a marriage, on a partnership, on whatever it may be, as entrepreneurs, and you have to find that balance, and sometimes it takes that balance, and it's probably good that you had a friendship and a relationship before that you did the business and it was strong.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, we're not perfect. We have our days. we're like any other couple or any other business associates trying to start something. We have our days. We try to move on from it as fast as possible, because really, it's just wasted time to us.
Well, it doesn't matter in or out of business. February 5th, Kathy and I have been together for 32, and it's our 25th wedding anniversary here, in June. So, there's lots of ups and downs, business or no business.
Oh yeah, you know it. Yep.
Yeah, life is a journey.
Yeah.
Especially when you throw in 2 daughters that know everything too. Like,
yeah. My daughter's 3 and she knows everything already. So.
Exactly. I also want to kind of touch base. I mean, you to touch a little bit on your raise. Like, a lot of people are out there, and I mean, I've been an investor and got well over 30 investments out there, and Brian and Jacques are probably my 2 favorite people in our ecosystem. I'm big fans of Metiquity and what they do and how they invest and the people they invest in, and more importantly, the support they give post investment, which is what I love. Why don't you talk a little bit about that process, right? I mean, everybody always shits on it, and everyone thinks that they deserve money, and everybody thinks that, I'm investable, where majority of people aren't. So I want you to kind of talk about that process a little bit, and being candid. Brian and Jacques will be fine if you complain about their process too. But it's I want people to hear about your experience with that.
For sure. So it was kind of organic and kind of serendipitous how Brian and Jacques ended up in our life. We are part of Platform's program for new founders, basically teaching us like the ins and outs of starting a company, what we need to know, like legal-wise, what is raising money. And in that process, they were teaching us why and when and how to raise like VC capital. And before I even started this journey of becoming an entrepreneur, I had no idea what VC was, or I had no idea that you could even raise money to start a business. So it was like kind of unlocking that. And I pitched Brian on one of the practice investor meetings at Platform. And after that, we just created a relationship. And I think what I really liked about how he does his investment thesis is that it's relationship building first. And I think it's very similar to starting a company with somebody. You should be building that relationship first, because like this is the person that you're going to probably have a relationship for like the next possibly 10 years of your life. So it's like, it's really important that you can see like eye to eye with that person. You can have like open and honest conversations. And Brian and Jacques really did fit that for us. And from like an investable standpoint, I think it's every VC has their thesis and their belief of like what the future is going to look like, what types of companies they want to work with. And I think for other entrepreneurs, that's like the most important thing to like understand first. It's not like they're trying to, it's a business at the end of the day, and they're sticking to like their plan so they can serve their own shareholders, their own customers. So like they're running their own business just like you are. So they're trying to pick winning bets as well. And you're not always going to fit that bet. It's not always going to be what they have expertise on, because that's like a lot of what the gaps are. Not trying to help, the whole helping at the end as well. They can help the specific companies that they've chosen because they have expertise in those areas. They know how to guide all their companies like through their processes, or connect people that they think can help them. So that's kind of the journey. It's been really, really, I think, positive. And I'm excited to continue, working with them for the next 10 years.
Yeah,
Mary, and they are great. They are, right?
Yeah,
Whether they're listening or not, I texted them and I was like, "You guys better be listening," but I don't see them on LinkedIn, so I am going to complain about that.
Brian and Jacques.
Brian. No, yeah, Mary kind of said everything that needed to be said. It was it was a relationship building at the start. I think, and again, Mary's right. All VCs have their own thesis and what they want to do. I think one with Jacques and Brian, it was almost, and I could be wrong on this, they'll probably correct me. It was almost 20%. Hey, you have a really cool product and you're solving a problem, and 80%. We really like you two. We believe in you two. We think you're smart. We think we'll be able to work with you. We believe that you can take what you're doing here and push it as far as it can go. So I think that was most of it. I don't want to say we just got investment because we smile and we're likable, but people like Brian and Jacques, it's big. They're big on, I believe, relationships, being able to work with the founders that they invest in, and that they have a good problem that they're solving. And they've been, you said to be transparent, and we're not sugarcoating anything. They've honestly been. I really haven't had any problems with working from them. We have meetings with them bi-weekly. Sometimes Jacques will join it while he's driving in his car. They're really committed, and yeah, I really don't have any qualms about the process so far.
No, that's great, and it's funny because I've sent quite I think about 4 or 5 companies that they've invested in. I said you should take a gander at, and of course I didn't. I knew of you guys, but I didn't really know what you did and things like that. And it was earlier on, and Brian's telling me, and he's like, oh yeah, well, he goes, got Brandon Potts and things like that. And I said, well, yeah, he's an athlete, right? Like he I played senior baseball against him for many, many, many years. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, no, I said, because he always hears me I even tell my wife, you should hire athletes. They just understand things. Like, that's just my philosophy of it, right? They know how to lose. They know how to shake it off. They know how to move on. They know how to fail. They know how to pick themselves up. I think there's a lot of good traits in being an athlete, good and bad, but I think the majority of them are good. So I always think that's funny. But I do want to get to one question here from Keith, and it's going to pop up on the screen here. I'd like you to answer this also, Brandon, in LinkedIn. But is there any integrations to CRM such as Techion?
Right now we're going through our integration process. So our first integration is going to be with PBS. They're a local Calgary company. They're super easy to work with, and for an early stage company like us, they're to be completely transparent, their pricing is where we can really operate on. A lot of the other bigger DMSs, Reynolds and Reynolds, CDK or ADP, if you want to call it, Techion, and there's a few other smaller ones we will explore in the future. Techion's actually very interesting for integrations and API, because it's almost like a self onboard. So we're looking at that as well. We don't have a lot of dealerships in our pipeline that are on Techion right now. Techion doesn't have a huge market share in Canada yet. A lot in the United States, right, Mary? And so right now we're kind of focused on a lot of the dealerships that are in our pipeline and kind of want to use the product are on PBS. So we're starting there. And once we kind of nail that integration, we'll start looking at kind of the other players in the game.
Perfect. Thanks and please post that in the chat after. We'll be good. So you're expanding, you're growing, you're scheduling calls around North America. Please share what's next. Maybe a little short-term vision and maybe a 5-year plus vision.
I feel like the short-term version is the next PBS integration. We've made it so everything is automated when it comes to delivering cars and reconditioning cars, so that there's very minimal administration burden on the staff now. And we know that's a huge unlock. That's about $50,000 a month in savings for most dealerships, just from that recon side. And we've seen over $500,000 a year saved from the delivery side. So that's one of the big things that we're really excited for, is completing that integration and turning on that automation for people so they can work a lot easier. And then 5 years from now, we would love to be across North America, integrated into the major systems. Our big thing is just to make work easier for the people on the ground, because their lives are already chaotic and hectic enough. And we want to automate all that admin burden away from them. That's where we think that AI and automation can really help, is people that work with their hands don't need to always be on the computer as well.
True.
Yeah, that's
anything that.
No, that Mary's right. Short term is the integrations, because that'll really propel us forward. Some other small things we're working on. Big problem at dealerships is key tracking, not knowing where the key is or where the car is. So actually, when we were down in Vegas for NADA, we met a really cool family company there, and they do exactly that. They have GPS trackers on all the key tags and things like that. And I think that'd be really valuable for recon and just vehicle delivery. So that's kind of the short-term stuff. And she's right. The long-term for 5 years is we want to be in as many dealerships in North America. With what's going on with kind of the world right now, and especially car sales, Your car sales and your gross might not be going up for a little while as things kind of stagnate, but you can make more money by making your dealerships more efficient. And like Mary said earlier, not having to hire more staff to do things, because the systems you have in place allow your staff to do things much more efficiently and faster. So another 5-year goal is, we talked about it briefly, and it's kind of a delusion of grandeur. We'd love to start our own dealership. We'd love to have a dealership, run it our way, kind of change things about the customer experience and how things are done. But that's kind of a pie in the sky kind of thing for way down the road. But yeah, that's kind of our vision for the near and long term.
Well, it's good to have. You need long-term vision goals as well, right? I mean, that's something, right? And you never know. I mean, I guess apparently there's a new car coming in here, right? BYD. Who knows? Maybe something, right?
That was the deal. That was the dealership we wanted to open.
But there we go, right? I've only seen their cars online. They look pretty cool from the videos, man.
Yeah, we saw one that had a drone in it that just like released a drone into the sky to check traffic.
Yeah, and they have one, you press a button and it literally shakes all the snow off of itself. We could go on. That could be a whole nother podcast, but yeah, they're pretty cool.
Oh, and I just wanted to put this up there, Keith. I'll thank you for sharing the information on LinkedIn. Mary and Brandon will get to it, and I'm sure they'll want to pitch anybody that you'll introduce them to. But thanks for your engagement here today. As I said, this Wednesday's my favorite day of the year. I love it. Day of the week. It's I get to talk to incredible people, hear incredible stories, and I'm always sad when these conversations come to an end. But for 400 plus episodes, I've always finished with the same question. And I'm very anxious to hear both your remarks. So Mary, we'll start with you. If you had one piece of advice for a founder or startup, what would that be?
My piece of advice is that the only thing that matters when you're starting out is creating some action and just doing things that will have some sort of effect down the road. And also, when you create that action, realize that you might not reap the results until a while later. Like right now, some of the results that we're reaping from actions that we've taken, people we've reached out to, connections we've made last year in the summer are now paying us now. So it is you have to do lots of things in the short term, but have this long-term vision, that realizing that the things that you do, even though they don't feel like that they're paying due right away, they will eventually pay due. All of these are all building blocks to a bigger thing.
Awesome. Brandon?
Yeah. Again, stealing all the words out of my mouth, but yeah, it's going to be very cliche. It's you believe you're solving a problem that people want solved. Just believe in yourself. Keep pushing forward. And Mary's right. Just keep making meaningful actions every day, every week. Keep moving forward, and just understand that nothing is going to happen instantly. It takes, especially at this stage, if you're just starting up, nobody really knows about you, and it could be a novel problem that you're solving, kind of like us. It just takes time. Get in front of as many people as you can. Get as many people at least just knowing about you as you can. Because like Mary said, we've had people reaching out to us recently that we connected with 6-8 months ago and things like that. So just keep pushing yourself forward. Do actionable things every day, even if it's small, because they all end up adding up and it snowballs at the end. And yeah, be patient. Don't get down on yourself if things aren't happening as fast as you think, because they're not going to happen as fast as you think. So just keep pushing forward and be patient and believe in yourself. That's my kind of cliche candid answer.
There's no cliche answer. They're all great. I mean, they're all important, and that's why I keep asking it, because it's a lot of some of them are repetitive, but they're all extremely important, and that's and again, what works for me won't work for you, and vice versa, and that goes on for so many aspects of a business, and whether you're scaling it or starting it or at the ideation stage. So. But Mary, Brandon, thank you so much for coming on today. It was long overdue. That's my fault. Congratulations on all you've created, and I'm sure there's going to be many successes in your future. And I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I'm looking forward to our next one at whatever event we run into each other at.
We'll be seeing you around. Yeah. Thank you, Jade. Yeah, we really enjoyed this as well. Thank you.
And again, I hope everybody has a fantastic Wednesday. Again, the conversation was so good, I forgot to mention that just click on the link in the website for Hoodo. It's there for blockchain insurance and pure guidance. But again, enjoy your Wednesday before we get some more snow coming up this week, and We will talk to everybody in 3 weeks. Unfortunately, I'm gone for the next 2. I got to go to Toronto, and then I'm at a data center event. So we will be back in 2 weeks. So enjoy.